All right. All right. Here we go. I got some. I think I have some good jokes today. We'll see.
Ooh, good.
The- I,
Make sure
the-
you leave that in, okay, so that everybody knows that that's how the episode started.
I've been working really hard on some ha-has.
Okay.
What's up, Rumi? It's been a minute. I'm so happy to talk to you, dude. Look at your room,
Yeah,
Rumi.
we've been through some changes. This shirt is fitting gorgeous because I'm sexy, but that's not a change. That's always been there. I think I got a haircut, so now I look like a boy again. So that's always good.
Dude, I got a
Um,
haircut too. I look like a boy who likes berries and cream. Should I drop this?
um, yeah. Let's see what that looks like. He's letting down his. Oh, it's kind of actually handsome. Why don't you wear it like that?
Because I look like Lord fucking Farquaad. That's why.
Yeah, that's what it, our buddy Julio, friend of the show, Julio, who always comes to Comic-Con with us, and
Yeah.
he was security for our last panel at San Diego Comic-Con when we thought we were going to get a demonstration during that. Remember that shit?
Oh yeah, protesters. We got an email. The protesters are coming.
Warning. Yeah. Julio told me I was late Lord Farquaad, so I think that was part of why I got my hair cut, but I did get my hair cut shortly after he said that.
Oh yeah, yeah. My hair was real long down to my nips. Woo woo. And I was like, I need like 6 inches cut off. And the lady was like, all right, snip. And I was like, well, committed. Here we go.
Most women, you didn't know what 6 inches looked like.
So give me the tour, Rumi. What do you got going on back there?
Well, I have a whole bunch of like my memories wall. This side here, I gotta figure out how to work with this glare, but this side here is all my launchpad stuff. I have our sign that you made the time that I interviewed Dolph Lundgren and we turned it into the original his origin cover from Amazing Spider-Man. We have the first Ghostface flyer that you made, which is freaking gorgeous. Me interviewing Dave Gibbons, and then I have this sweet collage frame that is supposed to look like a comic book page. And I put me and you in all of our different Comic Con panels from all the different cons and all the different shows that we've done. So there's a little bit of a Predator panel there. There's the one that lapped Ghostface when that dude dropped his pants and tried on underwear for us for a signed shirt. There's me and you with a sea of people. There's me at a table, and then there's me and you holding up our name tags, possibly at the first San Diego Comic-Con, but couple different panels represented there.
Wait, are these up top? Is that all the panels where we have been drawn into comic books?
This is the same. This is our buddy Tony Fabro, who does 3-panel crimes. After doing an interview with him, was like, I'm going to do a 3-panel crimes about you. Quick plug for Tony. Check out 3-panel crimes. It's literally 3 single panels that tell some sort of sketchy ass story. And after meeting me and talking, he did this panel or 3-panel crimes of me and Rumi. In the first one, it's me and Rumi in a car, and we look sketchy as hell, and we see a guy going in his house. In the next one, Rumi and I are running out of the house, and I'm holding something up over my head, and the guy who lives in the house is shooting at us with a shotgun. And in the third and final panel, Rumi is holding a Dark Knight Returns full page splash that has sold for over 500,000. All of our adventure was for naught as Rumi is holding the shotgun damaged page and I'm yelling. So
Amazing.
it's so cool. Yeah, it's so cool. So I have that. I have a bunch of stuff when I used to do special effects. I have right here is when you helped me composite me talking to my
Mr.
fake
C.
twin brother.
Yeah.
Mr. C talking to Fan C. So my students think I have a twin brother when I come to school in a suit one day and say that it's Mr. C's twin brother, Fan C from
Do you
Bourne
have a
University.
picture of you and Mr. T?
Yep. Me and Mr. T is right over here.
Yeah.
Eating cereal together. I was on Wipeout. Me having an epic lightsaber battle in Galaxy's Edge, cousin Paul. Me on the 405. Me driving a tank. And this is the first page of the essay that I wrote in the book that I published because I'm an author of Moon Knight. The Moon Knight page that I had a panel on in and everything. So It's like a wall of awesome memories. And the other day, I'm sitting here with my son, and he asked me what. Oh, I also have a GI Joe that looks just like me, and 3 different Lego figures that look like me. One that I made, 2 that I made, one that my friend made. Kent the other day is sitting here and he asks about the page, and I was like, "Remember the book that I wrote, or that I wrote in?" And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Remember I wrote in a Moon Knight book?" And now I think it's 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he was 3. I was like, "Yeah, I wrote in a book about Moon Knight. I wrote a whole essay." And he was like, "So you're an author?" Now my son is 6. He's just about to turn 7. Of all the things I've done, this is a picture of me driving a tank over a car. This is a picture of me on national TV. And I've been on national TV multiple times, including since he was born. And here's me eating cereal with Mr. T. And he's like, "Wait, you're an author? You mean you're famous?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not actually famous." He's like, "You say you're famous all the time." I said, "I know, but I'm joking. I'm just a lot of." He was like, "Do you have the book?" And like, he was nerding out. He was like, genuinely thought it was cool and impressed. I don't think he's ever impressed by me. I think he's impressed by me because I'm his dad. So he thinks like I'm dad cool, but I don't think he's like, "Shit, wait, you had dinner with like on the 405 and you were in the news about that?" I think he doesn't give a fuck. I don't think he cares that you and I have done multiple 100 people panels at different Comic-Cons. He's like, "You wrote in a book?" If I looked you up on Amazon, you'd like, and like, it's not like he's like a very literary kid. It's not like he's constantly reading books or essays, but it blew him away. And I guess if I tell him these same couple stories year after year, maybe he'll forget. "Oh, wait, you did drive a tank. Oh, wait, you did hang out with the guy who does mocap for King Kong."
Oh, and he taught you how to do King Kong moves. That was sick. Speaking of literature, my 5-year-old daughter and I have started reading Goosebump books, and we have gotten through 2 of them now. We're on to our 3rd one. We started with The Haunted Mask. Were you a Goosebump kid?
Not really. I think Goosebumps were just too late for me to find interesting, because by the time they were hitting the scene, I was already really deep in Stephen King, and it didn't seem, I was only in middle school or elementary school, but it didn't seem to make sense to go back. I definitely read a handful, but it was more out of curiosity than out of fandom. What about you? I'm going to guess that you're
huge. If
you're giving it to your daughter, I'm guessing it was
huge fan. It definitely a gateway drug for me. So we went through and we read all the Scary Stories books, all 3 of them. She didn't see any of the pictures because those are still too scary. I think they're still scary ass pictures. She didn't read any of the. We read through all of them, and she'd be like, "Why is that even scary? What's scary about that?" And you're like, "What?" And so like we're working on like what's scary. And then I was like, "Man, when I was a kid, I loved these books called Goosebumps." And she'd be like, "I want to read a Goosebumps." And so we went to the bookstore and we bought a tin that had like 5 Goosebump books in there. And we started reading. She picked Haunted Mask first, and we started reading them. And first night, she wakes up 3 times screaming in the middle of the night. And I was like, "Oh no, I whiffed it. I fucked it. We're never going to get to read another Goosebumps again. We're done." And the next day she goes, "I was a little scared last night, but I don't want to stop. I want to get braver and read more." And I was like,
well, I mean, did she wake up because of a haunted mask related thing? Like, was the mask in her room?
Yeah. She was freaking out about it, but she was like digging it. And we got through the rest of that book. She loved it. And then we did Stace, Cheese, and Die, and like she liked that. And I was like, "Which one do you like better?" She's like, "Haunted Mask." I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because she got the mask off at the end. Say Cheese and Die ends on a cliffhanger." That's like, oh, pretty funny.
Okay, but that's really interesting. And what a cool idea about thinking about storytelling from their perspective, right? Like kids at that age, they're so literal, they're so linear. You know, they don't want things open to interpretation. They don't want an open ending, especially like you don't want a sad ending or a bad ending, but you'd rather have a concrete ending than fill in the blanks yourself or leave something open.
So many times at the end of Scary Stories, you'd be like, and the skeleton turned to him and went, "Ah!" Right. And she goes, "And what happened?"
Yeah, did it get him?
What do you think happened? Dead. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Probably.
Maybe.
Then I read this spin-off. So like what really got me back into Goosebumps. So we read this spin-off series. It was called like In Honor of Scary Stories. It was a bunch of authors who love the Scary Stories books writing their own sort of short scary stories. Big thick book full of really good stories. Most of them were pretty tame. Some of them were like, I went into the woods and talked to a woods troll, told him my stepdad sucked, so he went and stole his fucking skin, and like blood and beetles are coming out everywhere. And I was like, and I'm having to like skip over this. I was like, and then the cave troll said, got your dad at the end. And she's like, what? And you're like looking at the paragraphs and you're like, can't read that. Oh. Wow, dangling eyeball. Gotta skip over that. So you just like skip to the end. She's like, why is that even scary? And you're like, his dad's gone. She's like, uh-huh. All right. But R.L. Stein, who writes Goosebumps, had a story in that book, and it was head and shoulders above all the other stories in the book. It was so great. It's a ghost from the perspective of a ghost in a closet. And he's like, tonight, I'm going to scare the shit out of this kid. I'm going to scare this kid so bad. That's my purpose. That's my unfinished business, is to scare somebody, because I was timid in real life. I was always scared. I was always running away. I was always squealing and crying. And he's like, I'm going to sneak out and scare him. And he comes out and the kid starts laughing. He's like, why are you laughing? He looks in the mirror. He's like, wait, is that what I look like? Is that my nose? Is that my curly tail? I'm a ghost pig, and this ghost pig has been stuck in this guy's closet, and he runs back in the closet. He's like, I'm never coming out again, damn it. And I was like, that is so funny. And R.L. Stein is just so good at that, like, short, compact story. And we started reading Goosebumps, and they're great, man. They're really classic.
That story is actually, what's the title? Do you remember that story, The Ghost Pig? What it's called? I don't remember
yes, Ghost in Sam's Closet.
I like it. That is, and I don't know if you remember this, but when it came out, it actually had a lot of acclaim because R.L. Stein does a really good job of writing to different levels. And, you know, there's the story on the surface, which is really about like this ghost that wants to scare somebody, and then there's a funny reveal at the end that it's a pig. But really, if you dig past the subtext, or the context to the subtext, you start to see that it's really about a gay pig, and the gay pig is really having a lot of trouble coming out to his human master.
That's what he was in the closet for. See, R.L. Stein, progressive to the way early.
The closet was a metaphor, Rudy.
Oh, wow.
I won't tell you what the curly tail was a metaphor for. Like at the end of that story, he comes out and Sammy's like, so he was gay? Was he gay? Did he go on? Did he go on Tinder? Did he go? I don't know, Sammy. It's open to interpretation.
She's like, I hate that.
Already came out.
I hate that. She's loving it. She's loving the scary stories, and I'm here for it. So we're having fun. We're having fun with it. It's great.
We just started there's like a used bookstore, like a really nice Billions of Books, I think it's called, in the mall. And we go and we look around. He just found Choose Your Own Adventures. And he's into it. So I let him, they had like a good collection. I let him pick anyone he wanted. He picked one called The Abominable Snowman, and it has a pretty sketchy, scary looking snowman. Not snowman, Sasquatch on the cover.
Yeti thing, yeah.
Yep. And we got like a little bit into it and he got scared, but he pushed through it, and he really enjoys it so far. But like you said, it'll be like, then you round the corner and there's a Yeti and he's holding a ray gun. And as the, orange light covers you, you realize this wasn't what you expected. And he's like, did we win? And I'm like, well, no, I mean, I don't think you won. And he's like, well, what happened? He's like, well, the Yeti shot you with a ray, but you don't know what happened. Well, are you dead? Well, I don't know. It's like, what do you think happened, And then there were other ones where like there was one that was like the same story, but there's a choice where you like meet this exploring expert. And at a certain point, do you want to go around the dangerous jungle where there might be tigers, or do you want to sidetrack? Okay, whatever. You get to a certain point and the guide turns to you and says like, if you're looking for Yetis, I have the knowledge you seek, but it's going to destroy everything you ever thought you knew. So you have to make a choice right now. Do you want the supreme knowledge that will change your life forever? Or are you going to say, nope, I'm content with the level that I'm at of knowing reality? So Kent chose that one first. He was like, well, let's just say that we don't need to explore further. And you literally just like talk to the guy and he says, well, if you're not ready to take that step, our journey is over. And Kent's like, did we lose? And I'm like, well, first of all, I don't think it's a win or lose per se.
How did it
But,
make
like,
you feel?
Yeah, yeah. It's like our friend was lost in the jungle. We did not recover him, and we were setting out to find Yetis, which you literally told the man you no longer wanted to do. So I think you did lose, but I think it's because you're a fucking loser. Like, you walked away from that adventure. there's like the idea of someone turning to you and being like, "Are you ready for life altering knowledge that will change the course of your destiny and everything you thought you knew?" There's something about saying no to that. But then what's even crazier is after that being like, did I lose? Fuck yeah, he told you you could make the choice.
I'm playing a game called Baldur's Gate 3, which is a massive D&D video game. And it's very much in that vein. And it gives you a list of things you can say to people. And I love it because sometimes it's like, is the arcane knowledge of the greater folds of the 7-9 hells bestowed upon me? And then it's like has a few other versions of that. And then the last one's like, what a piece of shit. I'm like, that game gets me good.
I'll pick that one. Did I lose?
Well, I think we've had enough chit chat. I think we should start the show with our theme song, like we do, like a podcast does.
To be fair, it's been a while since we podcasted.
I know. Fucking life,
Sorry,
man.
everybody. All our diehard fans and beautiful women and nerds that revere us are all like, where were you? We missed you so much.
You know what? I've always, in the past, I've promised, like, we'll do better. You know what? Fuck that. We'll podcast when we want to. And if you want to listen, we'll be here for you. Okay? That's the best I could offer at this point.
So right now, all of our listeners are like, did we lose? Did we lose?
Oh God! Good thing I went to the bathroom before we started recording.
We're still bringing it, guys. We're just not bringing it as consistent as we used to, but we're here. When we're here, we're going to show up.
I'm glad I went to the bathroom because I would have lost just then.
Good. All right. That's what happens after you have a baby.
Let's get on with the show.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, welcome to the Launchpad Podcast. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Matt.
Matt, we're off to a great start. We could talk about scary things and what we think about scary things. Choose Your Own Adventures. I loved those books as a kid. I could talk about those. But we said we were going to talk about 2 movies that we watched, and we keep threatening to talk about it. You were like, hey, I really like this one movie. Are there more movies like that? And I was like, yeah, there's part 2. So we're talking about Scott Derrickson's The Black Phone and The Black Phone 2. Starring Ethan Hawke, Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw, Jeremy Davies. Okay, yeah, I watched the first one. Let's start there. Pretty solid, good little horror movie. I liked it. I thought it was fun. It's about here. I'll read the premise. Finney Blake, stupid fucking name, but I'll digress. Finney Blake, a shy but clever 13-year-old boy, is abducted by a sadistic killer and trapped in a soundproof basement where screaming is of little use. When the disconnected phone on the wall begins to ring, Finney discovers that he can hear the voices of the killer's previous victims, and they are dead set on making sure that what happened to them doesn't happen to Finney.
So I needed a running start to get into this movie. I saw it on Peacock, and it was saying, coming soon, Black Phone, starring Ethan Hawke. And here's a trailer, here's a clip. And I was like, okay, that looks cool. You've pulled me in. I'll watch it. And the first time I sat down to it, it like pretty much opens with a pretty brutal school fight, kind of 2 school fights. And it's just like, it's not fun. It didn't feel like building. It just felt like, kind of black, cruel violence for the sake of it. Then you meet their super abusive alcoholic father, Jeremy Davis, and he is just a piece of shit, like evil, like not just abusive. And I'm not saying that this doesn't happen in real life. Maybe most
Happens
drunk,
more in the 80s than it ever.
sure.
Yeah.
But like, I think, like, I feel like when you read Stephen King bullying, it's going somewhere. You're building characters. You're building up the bullier because he's going to be an antagonist that gets what's coming to him and or helps out the other supernatural antagonist. But you're also building up the protagonist, and you're showing us how he or she handles that sort of adversity, right? This just felt like harshness for the sake of. So I watched it to a certain point, and I was like, I don't even know where this movie's going. I'm not super invested, and I got other shit to do, so I turned it off. And then I heard a lot of good stuff about it. And I don't remember if you were one of them, but there were enough people that like, no, that's not what the movie's about. And when it gets going, it gets going. So I watched it again and I loved it. I thought it really hit all its high notes. It checked all its boxes. I could critique a bunch of it, but it would kind of be nitpicking details more than the main parts of both it as a story and it as a horror film.
Sure.
But no, I definitely liked it, and I think it's pretty good as a self-contained little thing, and it works and doesn't trip over itself, doesn't do anything that I think a lot of its peers do that make me be like, never mind. Like, there's how many times, I don't know if you do this, but there's so many times I'll be watching a movie, and at the end of Act 2, I'll be like, if this keeps up, I'm going to text Rumi right when the credits roll. And then it trips, and you're like, never mind. This, it's not bad. Maybe it's not bad, but it's, it kept me entertained for 2 hours, but I'm not going to tell you that you should spend your 2 hours that way.
I was super impressed with it because it had a different vibe to it. It was bleak in a way that I kind of enjoyed, but it's like convention of the ghosts on the phone was very interesting. And yes, there were. I thought Ethan Hawke, for somebody who played an entire movie behind a mask, was actually really good.
He was fantastic. First of all, the decision, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but in the second one as well, the fact that he's not taking off the motherfucking mask every 5 seconds like you do in every superhero or horror movie that has a famous person, you're like, what? Why would that happen? I love the idea. And also it's kind of a metaphor for the character because if you guys haven't seen it, the character in this movie is called the Grabber. The bad guy is
horribly uninspired name.
Absolutely. But I mean, what are newspapers in the late 70s, early 80s calling him? The Grabber. Okay. Yeah. I think that's better than something more flamboyant, but okay, fine. He's the Grabber. And we don't really know much about him. We don't really know why he's doing stuff. There's a couple times where I don't want to say we doubt his intentions or doubt his maleficence, but like there's a couple times where he seems more pitiful and more sad than scary. And then there's a couple times that we don't know what to think about him. And Ethan Hawke plays him fan-fucking-tastically. And he doesn't do something that I think everyone does in that role where it's like, I'm the crazy villain. And you're like, don't twirl your mustache too hard. Don't lean into being crazy too hard. It's a very understated kind of mellow creep. And it, like you said, I forget the word you said, but the tone of the movie, bleakness, you said. Yeah, it's kind of just a dark movie. And I don't necessarily mean dark like making you feel bad, but the movie feels dark. He's grabbing kids. We don't know exactly what or why. We don't know what he does with them, but we do know it ends up with them dead. And he tells Finney that he's not killing them. And you're like, okay, but maybe, like, I don't know if I trust that. Then there's a fucking disconnected phone ringing with boys that we know are dead talking to Finney. So once that happens, it turns from a kidnap and possible torture, basement movie into also a supernatural element, which I kind of feel sometimes is cheating, but sometimes in this case opens up the world. You're like, now I don't know what to think. I'm not sure what is happening. I don't know what to expect in the next, scene or the next act.
One of my only gripes about the first film, actually, we'll get to it. I want to start with something I really liked about it. The basement actually felt safe. The horrible prison that you're trapped in is his safety net. If he just stays down there, the grabber's like, you'll be fine if you just don't break the rules. When he tries to escape and there's a moment where he gets upstairs and the grabber's just sleeping by the door, it's some of the most tense moments of the movie. And you're like, wow, the closer you get to freedom, as with anything, the ticking clock of it all, the almost escaping, the don't wake daddy game that he's playing in real life is terrifying. But it's like your prison is the safe spot. And that is like, what a twist to it. My wife noticed this. She goes, it's kind of like a video game quest. Every time he gets a phone call from a different ghost, the ghost is like, you got to find the key. You got to find the wire, kid. You got to find the scraping.
Add this to your inventory.
Yeah. And it kind of had a video game thing, which I thought was funny. I would have laughed really hard if the phone rang and he picked it up and it's like, if you don't want to get murdered, press 1. If you want to escape with all your fingers and toes intact, press 2. It's like, and it's like, I want to talk to a real person. Like, sorry, we're all ghosts here. I want to talk to a fucking ghost.
Operator.
And then you finally get through and he's like, have you tried not dying? It's like, that's the first thing I tried.
It's interesting. I don't know how many people knew this going in, but I didn't notice until I was watching the beginning credits. But it's based on a short story by Joe Hill, Stephen King's son, who also is a really good writer in his own right.
Oh, Lock and Key, yeah.
I've read a bunch of stuff that he's written. Now I've read both comics and novels and short stories. This is based on a short story. It's 19 pages. It's really good. It's really tight. It certainly trims anything that you would think is fat off of the movie, but also, usually I think when you read a story, especially if the story's tighter, like if you read a story, you like it a little bit better than the movie. I think it's always hard when you read the story after you see the movie. Yeah. But when you read this story, especially I read it after seeing the movie, you can see the bones of the movie. So like the biggest thing is in the book, you're only just with Finn. So you don't really see a police investigation. You don't see the police come and talk to the brother. You don't see his sister trying to find him. You're just with Finn the whole time. Mm-hmm. And it takes place a lot faster. And essentially, he talks to 2 ghosts on the phone. One just assures him to, keep cool. The other one tells him to pack the phone with dirt, which ends up being, one of the biggest things that he does to free himself. They took that idea and then it literally is almost like if you think of like a time bar at the bottom of editing software, when you push in on it, the bar opens up. That's what I think of this as, is you have this 19-page little story, but then when you pull it into a 2-hour movie, there's all these pieces that get strung out. So instead of having one ghost or 2 ghosts kind of, hey, this is what you need to do, you now have multiple ghosts with different personalities that are adding on to his escape plan, also the terror of what they went through, and then also the time that Finn is down there to, like you said, to add a ticking clock element, because each kid is like, hey, being dead sucks. It's really hard. Here's what you need to know. And Finn doesn't know what to do with all that till the end. Then he has all the pieces he needs to kind of figure out a plan.
One of the interesting things is like what's in the basement. There's like this disconnected phone. There's like a shitty mattress. There's like a bucket. Classic murder basement 101. And it's like the grabber's so pretentious and so full of himself. That stained mattress wasn't like his first choice. Like he's like, no, this one's too clean. No, this one smells too good. I need to, like, he went shopping for this shit. I need to find a bucket that's like perfect for like captive hostage shitting perfectly. Like he's looking for the one that's just tall enough that you can't quite sit on it without being uncomfortable. Like he really is setting this up. He dresses like a shitty magician, which I kind of appreciate. And then the mask, like, it's really well crafted. It's really well designed. Like he can switch out the different portions of it. So sometimes it's like a normal face with a smile, a sad face, a demon face. He puts horns on, and the mask kind of is compartmentalized of his emotions. But like, that like before he was like, what came first? Did he make the mask and then he started murdering kids, or was he like kidnapping kids and he's like, I got to make a cool mask? It's it's like what happens with, like, we've seen this all the time when your costume just enables your shitty behavior. Like if you dress up as Deadpool, you're going to be a dick. Like he just like sculpted this mask and is like, yeah, I'm killing some kids. Fuck yeah. Like
I love the idea of the grabber breaking the fourth wall as he explains this plan to diddle and kill kids. He's like, well, I got the mask. What am I going to do?
Right. But like he literally is like, I'm just going to make a cool Halloween mask. I need to express myself through arts and crafts. And he like carves this bitch in mask. And he's like, oh, it should be compartmentalized. Oh, I need these horns. I need a happy face. I need a sad face. I need like a smile. And then he puts it on as like, oh yeah, what'd be really good while I'm wearing this? Let's kidnap some kids. That'd be pretty. That's what this is feeling like, right? Like he just finds his calling because of the mask. Which came first? I really want to know.
Well, it's if you take the mask out. First of all, the mask I think was designed by Tom Savini, which is kind of cool.
Oh,
but
cool.
if you take that mask out of it, because it is extremely theatrical, Scream. In the first Scream movie, they say you can buy this costume at any five and dime. So it's just a random Halloween costume in that universe. This is very over the top. It's very theatric. But everything else, I guess aside from the fucking ghost calling on a broken phone, but like everything else is very believable, very natural as opposed to supernatural. He's just this guy. He doesn't do anything magical. He doesn't, he's not able to withstand a shit ton of punishment. He doesn't like magically know where people are in a house or whatever.
No.
He just comes down, seems to like be genuinely interested in Finn's companionship a couple times, almost to both in the original short story and in the first movie. He seems like he wants the companionship and is really awkward and kind of sketchy about it. But you kind of don't know, but you're afraid to know. The mask is almost too theatrical for the rest of the surrounding. I guess, again, until the ghost phone starts ringing, and then you're like, okay, I will, in this universe, buy this mask. And it is as theatrical as the mask is. The grabber, what he does and what he is kind of not as sensational as the average slasher or horror movie. So I think he's still, even with that mask, which is just so well designed, it does give a really cool, subtly creepy vibe. It's
so gnarly.
So here's the stuff that I don't like. And,
hit me with it.
We got to have some, movies are not real. And you and I always equate it to, when you blow up a balloon with air and you throw it in the air, it starts to come down. And every time the movie does something good, it bumps the balloon from the bottom and doesn't let it hit the floor yet. Every time the movie does something not good, the balloon gets closer to the floor. This balloon never touches the floor for me, but there's a couple like really big misses that I think you just have to allow. Finn gets abducted holding a little rocket ship toy, and the grabber lets him keep it, which makes absolutely no sense and is immediately used as a weapon on the grabber. And the grabber still lets him keep it, if I remember correctly. Also, if you have a murder basement, why would you keep a phone in there? Like, the first thing I would think is that could be used as a weapon, even if the phone wasn't connected to anything. I wouldn't put any, in the basement that I would be abducting people in. That's how I would do it.
You'd be ultra. So like he was minimalist. I mean, he went with a brutalist, like almost Spartan. But he's like, I'm not disconnecting this phone.
He had a role. Well, he's like, I'm not doing like housekeeping.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna. He's like, I'll snip the wires. Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna snip the wires, but I'm not like that. There's a rolled up
carpet down there. There's Finn discovers there's a window. The window is high enough that he really can't reach it. And it's covered with bars, but like it opens and it's there. And you're like, so you're a fucking child kidnapping murderer and you just have a window that faces the street?
A full-on window. Yeah. A window
like,
you can look
say,
at. Like
you said, pretentious. You could say it's his hubris or maybe he gets off on that even. But for me, I'm like, I don't know. But again, maybe
at least put some like newspapers on the window.
Yeah, like, it just seems like you have to allow that. And I'm like, okay, I'll allow that. I'll allow that he keeps a phone down there. I'll allow this. I'll allow that. But really, all of my gripes are that. There's a part in the movie where the kid almost escapes. Finn almost escapes. He gets out the front door. The grabber runs him down in the street. I think actually drives his van and picks him back up.
Yeah.
I get that was a scare in the movie, and the movie needed a scare at that point, and it was well done, but too dramatic for me. I can't imagine a guy in a monster mask who's abducting and murdering children, running down the street, chasing a kid, catching him and throwing him in a van, and nobody saw that. Like,
No,
I mean,
okay. So here, true story time. True serial killer story time. I had a teacher.
when I kidnapped this kid.
No. So, oh God, why am I blanking on this? Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer was kidnapping men, injecting acid into holes in their brain, killing them, eating them, just gnarly shit. One of them escapes while heavily dosed on drugs and starts wandering down the street, knocking on doors. And Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm sure, had this moment of like, do I chase him? No, that'll call too much attention to me. I'm just going to sit back and see what happens. And a few hours later, the cops are like, oh, your boyfriend's out here drunk. Here he is. And they bring him back.
Oh my God, that's true. I never heard that.
That's true. So my teacher in high school was like, I'm teaching across the street, and people are like, there's a naked guy wandering down the street, knocking on doors. And he was trying to get away.
Oh my God, that's horrifying.
Yeah. And she saw this happening, and the cops came, and the second the cops were like, oh, this is something gay. We're terrified of gay things because they're homophobic 70s cops. And they're just like, oh, we don't want to investigate at all here. They just bring him back to his murderer. So gnarly. Yeah, we're not a true crime podcast, but that really happened. So the grabber chasing him down was like, no, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Like, no, he's chasing him down. He doesn't want to get caught. But like in real life, the cops are like, hey, here's your little boy. Don't tell us what you're using him for. And they would just wander off. Like that's what happened in the 80s.
I never heard that, except the part of the reason that R.L. Stine is hailed as such a great writer is because he once wrote a short story about a gay pig. Wink, wink. Pigs is slang for cops. Yeah, not a lot of people realize what that story, The Piggy in the Closet, is actually about.
That's what they're really afraid of. They're afraid of themselves.
I mean, this is a joke, but also kind of like,
whoa.
It's almost a little too real sounding for it to be a joke.
Hey, wow. Pretty heavy stuff, man. Let's get back to the child murder movie.
That being said, in the movie, I don't like it. I don't like it. Real serial killers can get away with it, but in my movie, that just seemed a bridge a little too far. It could have been worse, and it was an effective scene. At least it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was an effective scene, but like I wish they literally, like in the movie, if you guys haven't seen it, they literally show him running and porch lights turning on, and the grabber grabs him, throws him into a bush, lays down with him, and is like, if you make a sound, I'll fucking choke you with your intestines or something. And he's quiet. And then the people who looking out on their porch turn lights back off and go to bed. And like, it didn't need to be that. Like, if he had grabbed him as he went out the door, I don't know that it would have been any less scary for me or any less effective.
I don't know. The precipice of freedom, the closer you get to that, the more intense it is. I think that was a metric they were working
You just wanted him to run down the street and see your high school teacher looking through the blinds?
Yeah.
She did nothing to help that naked guy.
She was busy working.
Eh.
I don't know. I think the first movie is really effective. There's a lot of good moments to it. There's a lot of like really devastating moments. Finney tricks the grabber into killing his own brother. That's insane. That moment
you do not see that coming.
Oh, it's so
right?
You and also you're like,
coming.
wait, he's got a brother. Wait, is his brother in on kidnapping people?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this like that Pulp Fiction thing where you got a dungeon basement and everybody's in on it? That's freaking creepy. So weird, but effective and very, it comes out of nowhere. Really good. Axe kill. Ugh, so good. I'm really impressed with the first one. It immediately was like high up on my good horror films of the year, one of the best of 2012. And one of the best, I think, in a long
2012?
time.
It's that old?
Yeah, man. That's how long it is since we last talked. 2012.
No.
Yes.
Is it really 2012?
Yes. Black Phone. No, 2021. Sorry, 21.
Oh, geez,
I'm dyslexic. I'm dyslexic. Don't listen to me. 2021.
I should have known it was you. What you meant was you watched it at 12 o'clock.
Post pandemic. Yeah, but still.
I was like, I think it's more recent than that. It also, love it or hate it, has a pretty cool ending where there's like the Speed wrong house double reveal where you see the cops storming a house, you see Finn about to escape, and right when they think they're going to cross paths, it's revealed that they are two separate dwellings that they are in. So they've tracked the police have tracked the grabber to one house, and Finn is actually in a different house. So you that's, I think, that precipice that you talked about. You think, okay, the cops are going to get there in the nick of time, but they don't. They're at the wrong place. And it's pretty good. I think it's effective. I don't know that.
That's very Silence of the Lambs, you know?
Yeah. I don't think you need that. Oh, yeah, Silence of the Lambs is what I meant, not Speed. Yeah, I don't know that you need that, but it was still good. That wasn't in the book, but it was in the movie, and it works. Like, again, it's effective, and I guess my biggest compliment to this film is a well-made horror movie. It crafts these tense moments, it crafts these tense scares and these scary scenes. Like you said, it does a great job at establishing a bleak and scary tone. You're in the basement a lot. The basement as a setting is claustrophobic, and it keeps you contained, but also has a sense of fending off doom for a minute. You're safe here for a minute, but you don't know what's happening. You have the phone keeps ringing as a ticking clock of you got to get ready, you got to get ready, you got to get out of there, but don't do this, don't do that. You have a villain that's really, really scary and doesn't telegraph his moves, so you're not really sure where this is going. So yeah, I really do like that a lot. I've rewatched it a couple times.
2021 had some really good horror movies, actually. Like, I'm looking at
like 2012.
Yeah. Black Phone, Halloween Kills, Candyman, the remake. There was what was the other one? Werewolves Within, the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix. Like,
yeah, that's like the beginning of a good time in horror. Like, it's actually kind of exciting. Yeah. There's like movies that are coming out that are doing a good job of being scary and not just being throwaways, like being a movie that you talk about, even if it was just on your way home, you stop and grab a burger and you bullshit about it, even if that's as far as it goes. I feel like for 20 years, we didn't really have many of those. I won't say we didn't have any, but.
Well, and it's an original character. It's an original movie.
Sure.
And like, that's rare. That's even more rare now. We were making fun of how rare that was then, and now it's even more bleak and rare. But of course it did great, so they're like, we got to get a sequel going. Oh yeah, so Black Phone 2 came out. I did not see this until last year. I waited so goddamn long to see this movie. I was like, I want to see it. I'm excited, and then it came out. And I was like, oh wait.
You waited until last year, and it came out in 2012.
2016 this time.
It just came out, right?
Yeah, it just came out. Yeah. Black Phone 2. Black Phone 2 came out in 2025 last year.
Yeah, I saw it pretty quickly after it went over to Peacock.
It actually is a future movie. It came out in 2052, and it has been sent back in time as a gift to us. So
where do you want to start with this one?
I will give you my broad stroke opinion, and then you do the same. I liked everything I saw. Like what entered into my eyes. Okay. Thumbs up. Mm-hmm. Some creepy things happening. The grabber's back. He's kind of doing some Freddy Krueger shit. Cool. Okay, cool. There's some dead kids again, ghosts and ghost phones. All right, great. What I saw, you did a good job. What I heard was dumb as shit.
Dude, I watched this like a couple months ago. I watched it again today and took a bunch of notes on my phone. I could throw that phone in the trash because there's nothing I'm going to say that's either going to be as funny or as succinct as what you just said. Because what you just said is pretty fucking perfect.
Yeah. Like visually, like concept wise, they're like, oh, he's coming back and he's like Freddy Krueger and he's in the dreams and we have some of this scenes and some of that scenes and some of this stuff happens. Like, cool. Why does any of that happen? I don't know. Turn the cameras on.
Barrels,
We'll figure.
barrel
Yeah,
children?
yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. Let's go. Because they'll do shit where they're like, hey, are you going to eat that egg? No. Hey, by the way, the grabber's coming back to this camp so he can get the power of the children that he killed from their energy. How do you know that? Man, breakfast is the best meal of the day.
Nobody asks how you know that.
Yeah.
Nobody asks how you know that. And everybody in this movie is just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like the dad literally shows up at this camp that he thought the kids were trapped at because of a snowstorm. He gets there and they're arguing outside in the snow. And he's like, hey, he literally goes, hey, guys. And he's not like, why are you guys outside having an argument in the snow? Which their response would be, you know how I can see fucking like psychic dreams and future premonitions? And remember how he was kidnapped by a child murderer last year that he then killed in self-defense? I'm having future visions and ghostly call flashbacks to that guy who's back now in dreams, question mark.
Yep.
And the dad's like, okay, what do we have to do?
Yeah.
Like
Everybody, like, everything is so coincidentally understood. Oh, by the way, the grabber also killed our mom, who we thought committed suicide in the first film. What a coinky dink.
I was okay with that. Yeah. I like the idea as a movie. It's not real life, but
sure. But and I liked how they showed it. How like how she's in the van with him. I like all the things you showed me. Just you didn't. All the words that came out of anybody's mouth was Black Phone 2, the coinky dinking, where it was just too convenient. You know what you could have said? I don't know. Are you having dreams about the killer? I don't know. You were showing me things that I could deduce, but you treated everything as too stupid, even your own characters, which I hear is a thing now that you have to do, is be super stupid and literal, so that every character would be like, how'd you sleep last night? Terrible. The killer came and like threw me against the wall like Freddy Krueger, and now I know where his victims are. The whole thing, I thought they were setting up like this mystery of like find the 3 kids, because again, in video game format, they'd be like one kid's hidden deep in the cold. Like, no, all 3 kids are under the ice.
Oh, same area, same exact spot.
Yeah. I don't like. There's not going to be 3 riddles or like 3 cases to solve. They're like, no, they're all just under the ice. You sure you didn't want to spread them out a little bit to make it a little more interesting? No, we're wasting so much time having to reiterate the plot over and over and over again, and to like we're racking our brains how to be more literal and quinky dinky. They're all under the fucking ice. Just go out there and start digging, fuckers. And then they go out there with like a fucking drill, and they're like, and they just go, oh, I found the kid. And they're like, okay, is there going to be any problems here? And they're like, he's on ice skates. Okay, cool. Again, my eyes are digging it. My eyes are like popcorn, yummy, yummy, yummy. But my ears are so pissed off. By the time he's on ice skates, I'm kind of, movie.
I don't, not only do I not disagree with that, I agree with everything. The worst part is like having these thoughts in my head is different than discussing them with you. But hearing you discuss it, the worst part to realize is you have a character in this movie who sees the future and communes with the dead. Why is there anything unknown? Like, if you're going to be half-assed, just have her have a dream where the kids are and say, we need to dig over by that tree. If she's already seeing hints that are Deus Ex Machina, where like they're being given to her, don't just have her like they're talking and they're like, I think he's getting his powers from the dead children that we can't find. And nobody's like, why do you think that? Nobody. And then at no point is there any reason given for that. But then she just is like, okay, let's look over here. Why doesn't her mom just be like, the dead children are under the ice, like about 40 feet from this dock? Like, as shitty as that would be, it at least
they can't even do that. Are the kids under this dock right here out the back door? No, it's a different pond that's like kind of far away. and we don't explain why it has to be different when it could just be this pond right here. If we're going to be this fucking lazy, let's just make it this pond right here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
No, we have to go to some weird CGI pond. Yeah, but we got a
Right,
real
which
pond
is-
right here.
And they say, we're going to leave at dawn. And
Yep.
they say that 2 or 3 times. Then there's what I think is a montage of them looking during the day. And then they're back at camp at night. And you're like, wait, so was it unsuccessful? And they're like, well, we leave at first light. You're like, wait, but I didn't make that up. You already looked once, right? This is the second day. And it really bugged me the first time I saw the movie, because I didn't understand the time frame. But in something that I do kind of like stylistically, the movie has a very dreamlike quality, and it does go back and forth between Gwen, the sister's dream and vision state, and also real life, sometimes even melding one into the other visually, which I thought was a lot of fun and really cool. But at the end, it becomes a little confusing on where and when we actually are at any given time. And everybody's just going along with everything. Like at one point she falls asleep. Like there's a lot of convenient falling asleep, like in Freddy Krueger movies.
Yep.
Everyone just like lets her fall asleep and then battles him and then wins. And then she wakes up and there's a guy just sitting, like her little boyfriend's just sitting next to her. And you're like,
oh,
you were just sitting there?
Yeah. Okay.
How long? How much time has passed? You just saw someone being phantom dragged across the ice.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting in a sleigh, a 1-horse open sleigh.
Here's what pisses me off. You had all the ingredients for a great cake, and it came out garbage.
Mm.
You did so much right. You had it all right here. I'm gonna be inspired by Freddy Krueger. Fucking awesome. You did so many Freddy Krueger things right here. You had so many cool dream sequences. You knew how to make this movie. I saw the first movie. I know you know how to do it, but I feel like there was just this like complete disconnect with how do we explain the plot? And they could not get around that. And it's simple. You go back to your video game quest montage and you try and figure out how to get these dead kids in different areas. One of them's in the horse barn. One of them's under the lake. One of them's somewhere else. And like, how do they know that he's getting power from them? You show him getting power from them. When she first sees him, he can't grab her. Freddy Krueger taught you these lessons.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
So it's super frustrating when you did it so well, but then like failed so hard when you didn't need to.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I just watched the first Leprechaun movie yesterday, and in it, he tries to close a door with his magic, and he can't. And he goes, I've been away from me gold too long. My power is not at full strength. And you're like, all right, a little ham-fisted, but I understand what's going on. I know. And here's the thing. I know the rules. Now, you and I are talking about it. We know film will work. We worked or are working in film. We went to film school. Film is like super important to us. We know people. I have a lot of friends who love film, but they don't know it as well as you and I do. We're talking about structure. We're talking about how to weave a narrative, and we're talking about motivations and stuff like that. For me, you could pull that back and boil it down to, what are the rules? And like Freddy Krueger's a great example. Really quickly in that movie, they establish the rules. They establish his powers, his weaknesses, the vulnerabilities of the protagonists. Right? We know when they're in danger. We know how they can fight back. In the first one, in First Black Phone, even though there was a lot that we didn't know, it wasn't jumping so hard that you couldn't keep track. You weren't like, the phone is ringing. What? You're like, okay, I understand. The phone is ringing. You're like, oh, it's a dead kid. I got it. In this one, there's so many things that are happening that you're like, wait. You're asking me to just believe that. You're like, wait, she comes into her dream and she starts fighting him. She's like, this is my dream. I have power here. And you're like, okay, but we've never discussed that before. And what are your powers? You just force pushed him away. Why can't you force push him all over the place? Why can't everybody in the dream force push? There's the climax of the movie, the climactic action at least, is this big set piece on an ice rink, and he's ice skating and stuff. He doesn't show up until she falls asleep. Why doesn't he show up until she falls asleep? Was he not able to come until she was sleeping? Wouldn't he have succeeded in his mission of keeping those boys safe if he had killed everybody before she was in a position to dream defend herself? There's too many things that you're like, I don't understand the rules here. So I'm like, for me, I disengage immediately. That's why I don't read Doctor Strange. That's why I don't read fucking magic shit. That's why I don't read other dimensions. Because what are the rules?
But here's the thing. You have to approach this stuff as if you would a board game. Okay? It doesn't have to make sense. You actually don't have to explain it. But you, as the writer, need to know what his source of power is. What does his power give him? What weakens him? How many turns does he get the ultimate power? What activates his powers? It's there's board game rules to a movie that you may not even like be aware of, but the writer needs to understand it, and they didn't. They expected you to ignore it, and you can't. Wouldn't it be funny if ghosts, like, if I turn into a ghost, I need to like try and maintain just to be literal. Hey, I'm dead. I'm over there under the tree. Not that tree, the other tree. That's where I'm dead. I'm dead. Go find me, please. Like, ghosts are always stupid cryptic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the coldest, darkest void. It's like a hug from my mother that I never forget. And you're like, just say what you mean, dude.
That
Why
doesn't help either of us.
Yeah. No 11-year-old is that cryptic. Just fucking say it, dude. 11-year-olds are blunt. They're like, yo, I'm out by that place. I took a piss. And you're like, okay, I know exactly where you are. Cool. Like, come on. Like, just like, why are ghosts always stupid? I understand when they're like Victorian era ghosts. That's how they talk. They all talk like cryptic buttheads. But like a kid from the 80s would be like, yo, I'm out back where like Stevie like took Linda and like he said he fingered her, but she said no. Like that's how a kid from the 80s would tell you where he was buried, right?
I like that in that example, fingering is like an 80s activity. Like, it was identifiable by the decade. You got finger banged? Oh, yeah. It's 1980s.
Definitely 1980s. Yeah.
Well, I like your board game analogy. I'm going to piggyback on that.
Yeah, please
when
do.
I come over your house and you're like, dude, I have an awesome board game. And I'm like, cool. How many times have someone explained the rules of a board game to you and you're like, I don't get it? And you're like, all right, but when we start playing, you'll get it. Yes. And then you start playing and you get it. And no matter what game, I might not be as good at it the first time as you, but if the game is made well and you're playing it correctly, you start to understand the rules as you go. I guess a film needs to be like that too.
Mechanics.
And I think as the writer, you hold the instruction manual to the game. So you know all the rules and you've played it before. You don't have to tell everybody that at the outset of the game or movie. But by the end of that movie game, everybody should know how to play, and everybody should know what their moves are capable of. Everybody should know what can stop you in the game, right? What can hold up your progress or move you back. And I feel like that's where this movie fails. If you can overlook that, it has a lot going for it.
It certainly does. Like I said, I think it did everything right. It just didn't write the dialogue and the words that came out of people's mouths did not support the film that you made. And that is the most frustrating thing, is like, if I muted it and just watched it, I would have liked it better. But the characters were dumber than they deserved. You have this great character. Actually, it's a really well acted film. The teenage girl,
agreed, yeah,
is actually really good. But they just have her saying stupid things that you're like, she's smarter than this. Why are you letting her? And then they have this stupid boyfriend character. Oh my God. Look, I'm all for helping your friends, but that kid is like the girl that I have a crush on. We haven't even held hands. I'm buying her tickets to Duran Duran concerts. Bro, if I was
80s, he thought he was fingering her.
Yeah, but I'd be making fun of you hard. Like, dude, you haven't even gotten to first base yet, and you're buying concert tickets? Like, go get a coffee first. And then he's like, I'm coming to the winterized summer camp with you, even though you've expressly told me how batshit crazy you are, and you're throwing up all these red flags. You're like, nah, I like you. That's a nice guy shit. But dude, don't, like, no, stop it. Like, I had friends like this. I know people like this who are like pining for chicks, buying them tickets to go places with them. And you're like, dude, but to build a relationship before you're buying her tickets and going to her winter camp to help settle her like mental demons. Like, like be there for that person when your relationship is further along. Don't do it.
So your trajectory is first date comes before going to a secluded place with someone to settle their mental demons. That's what your
I'm
dating life
saying
was like?
at least do some hand stuff before you're fighting the serial killer that
It was the
kidnapped her brother.
80s, hand stuff all over the place.
That's what I'm just saying. Before you fight a serial killer and unpack all the fucking baggage, at least have some groundwork laid in
Sure.
like human. Like this kid is a like in my book that's punk shit. Like you're a punk if that's like if that like you're not a nice guy, you're getting walked on, dude. They're using you as like human shield to that serial killer, and you're lucky.
Did you see the director's cut of this? Like the unrated director's cut?
I'm terrified to ask.
There's a scene at the end as they start to leave. He's like, "So those tickets were $60. I think he just went with her because he was worried she was going to get murdered before he got reimbursed." I think that's.
oh, good. He as long as he asked for the cash and was like, it's a mutual split seas, then it's fine. You know what? It's great.
Do you remember how? Well, to digress just a half a second away. Do you remember how the movie actually ends? Like what the last shot and sound is?
They all just drive away, and then the phone rings again.
They're driving away, and as they're driving away, the dad is in the car with Finn, and he goes, "So, what do you think about this guy that she's seeing?" And Finn's like, "He's okay." And then the dad's like, "What about Mustang? Mustang is the hot Native American girl who was on camp for no reason." And Finn is like, "Dad, stop it. Conversation over." And the dad's like, "Come on, I'm just saying." And it's like, meh. And you're like, what? Why are we ending this horror movie with a character that no one liked in the first one and we don't really know in this one and seems unnecessary and on a joke? Why are we ending the movie that way? I don't like that.
Yeah, that's dumb. You're right.
To go back a second, so you're talking about this limpdick boyfriend who he doesn't why is he there as a character? What purpose does he fulfill for the movie? And then you think, like, okay, it's a horror movie. We need character. We need cannon fodder. Nobody really dies in this, but most people in this movie are already dead when the movie starts.
Yep. I don't think anybody important dies in this movie.
They go to this camp, and there is a man running the camp. Mm-hmm. I don't know if she's related to him, but a Native American horse rider who's awesome, and a Bible thumping couple that is there to clutch their pearls. And then the dad and the boyfriend and Finn and Gwen, and then the dad shows up. And each one of those characters seems more needless than the last. There's a couple interesting interactions between each two characters, but you don't need any of them. There's no second layer to a single character. The most in-depth one is the guy who owns the camp, who says that he made a promise that he would find these kids.
He actually is a good character. So a metric I've been working with is this idea that if you logged into their computer, I don't know why you're being this creeper, could you guess what their algorithm is? Like if you said, "Hey, let me see your Instagram," could you guess what was being pushed to them? Tell me one other thing about the character that isn't just the job that they do or the things that they say. Tell me something about their character. And this guy says, "I used to be in prison, but I turned it around. I became a camp counselor." I know so much more about him now. Mm-hmm. Her liking horses tells me nothing. Lots of people like. One of my favorite lines in Ghostbusters 2, "Why do pretty girls like horses? Why do all pretty girls like horses?" And Janine Milner goes, "I don't like horses." One of my favorite. It's so subtle. It's so great. But again, lines like that, lines like, all I know about the chick in this movie, she likes horses. All I know about the couple is they sleep in late and they like the Bible. I don't know anything about these characters, and you need
the dad is reformed. There's a couple I
quit
jokes
drinking
and or barbs at his expense about being a drunk or a previous drunk, and he says, I'm back now and I'm regular, and he does do a couple things to support the kids in it, but that's it. He doesn't do anything else. He doesn't even serve a purpose. There's no
what kind of music does he like? Does he even like Hank Williams? I don't know.
There's no one person in this movie that you don't need her to ride a horse. If a horse was important to the plot or it did something. If one person was a diver and they needed that diver to go into the water, but nobody does. Every other character's actions are interchangeable.
Here's
doesn't make like you just why do you have all those people then?
one of the best examples is the movie John Carpenter's The Thing. One of the best films, period.
Mm.
There's a guy, Knowles. He has roller skates and he's listening to Stevie Wonder. That tells me so much about that character without having him to have to be like, I like roller skates, guys, because back home in Chicago where I grew up, I like to roller skate around the neighborhood. And that, like, I don't need, but it shows me something. He likes Stevie Wonder. That guy has good taste in music. He rides around roller skates. He's got some style to him. He's kind of a smooth character. It tells you so much.
But I at first I was gonna balk at that, but like in that exact shot where he comes in a very superstitious, they're like, "Hey Niles, turn that shit down. People are trying to sleep." And he goes, "Okay," and he goes over to the radio and he pretends to turn the radio down, and decidedly doesn't. And you're like, okay, and you're right. That really does flesh out a background of a character that makes him first seem like a fucking person, right? Like there's a couple things happening there, and it certainly makes you be like, oh, I'm interested in him. I'm interested in this guy. What is he thinking right now? What is he going to do? What does he want to do? What's his relationship to that other guy?
They do that for a lot of characters. The guy who owns the dogs, who takes care of the dogs, he's not a big character in the movie. He's actually really small, one of the smallest characters. But when his dogs die, he cries.
Right.
And that that tells you a lot. In this movie, I'm sure they're like, well, these two characters, they're religious and they don't approve of the kids. No shit. All people who hold a Bible behave that way in movies.
Sure.
Like, give me something about their character beyond the key cliches of I have a Bible, I don't like you because you got a tattoo, you have a piercing, gross, or like whatever it is.
Right.
They're like everything is boiled down to a cliche, and that doesn't aid the story, and it doesn't get me farther into it. If they were better characters, maybe I'd care if they died. Oh, they don't die? I don't care about anything.
Right, so why are they even in that? Like in Jason movies, there's 100 characters that you don't need, but they're disposable. They're there for fodder.
But even in the Jason movies, I've been watching a bunch of them. They still give me more character than a lot of what's happening in this movie. And people bag on those movies for being very cliche, but they're writing the cliche. Shelley,
that's true.
I can tell you a lot about Shelley. Even though
you are Shelley.
Hell no. Hell no. You're a limp dick. I'm not a limp dick. You're dead fish, what they call it? I'm not a dead fish. But you know what I'm saying? Like those characters are they're not the cliche. They're interesting because they're not they became the cliche later, but they really do make it interesting. And I think this movie did so much right, but then whiffed so hard on.
Well, then I wonder also, like, I wonder if we did some research or did watch some sort of director's cut or DVD stuff, would we see, like, I'm looking at this now, and again, like you and I discussing sincerely things, genuinely, or joking, does shed light on stuff. When I'm looking at these characters, if you're looking at it as a tapestry of the film, there's a lot of holes. Why are there so many holes in this one thing? I wonder if at some point in production, did something get shot out, like shot with a gun? Like, was there supposed to be more interaction with these characters and that was cut for time or cut because it was fat, or maybe they shot it? Maybe there was some really good scenes with some of these characters.
I guarantee you,
it just
producers,
seems so unnecessary to have so many unnecessary characters. It's like there's so much there that doesn't seem necessary. So where are the necessary parts? Were they filmed or were they written and not filmed? Or did a bigwig at some point, did an executive say, wait, you know what would be funny? If these guys said that instead of this poignant thing that actually moved the plot along.
That's what it reeks
of. There's a lot of negative space in there.
It reeks of, we need you to reiterate every 10 pages the exact plot. And that's taking up time from exploring some of these characters and some of these options. Overall, like, I didn't hate it, but it didn't elevate itself the way the first movie did. I think it left it in a solid, but like, oh, hey, if this is your knockoff Freddy Krueger, I'm here for it. This is a good character. You also didn't give Ethan Hawke anything to do in this movie. Like, like, there's a great scene in the phone booth where he comes out of the snow. And I kind of like the thing on the ice hockey skates. It's weird. It's really weird. It rubs me the wrong way, but in a way that I'm like, you know what? I actually think I kind of like it because it's so
It
weird.
was done well. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to like it, and I don't think it was necessary at all. But like, it was shot cool. It
Yep.
looked cool. He was a menacing threat. And if you guys haven't seen it, there's a bunch of characters on this giant frozen over lake, and essentially it's a Freddy Krueger scene where Freddy Krueger's on ice skates. So there's one or two characters that can see or know where he is, but nobody else can see it. So he swings by with a hatchet while ice skating, chops the guy and drags him with the hatchet, and all everybody else sees is just a body being dragged across the ice.
Cool.
Supernaturally. It's pretty cool, and it's shot well. It looks well. It fits with the rest of the movie. It doesn't seem out of place, even though ice skating seems like a very specific thing to put in there. But like, fuck it. We're this far in. There's bigger problems in the movie as a movie, but like the scene is done well. It works. But it also is a big moment of like, wait, what the fuck is going? Like, what?
Yeah.
And she falls asleep and falls in the water. And the second she falls in the water, she sees the remaining two bodies they're looking for. And it's like, what? I think you made a joke before about like there's no adversity there. It's not like, oh, I have to find this before my actual body dies. She falls in the water and is like, there's one. There's the other one. I was literally typing in my phone. She falls in and immediately finds the second body. And I wrote the word ugh. And as I wrote that, she found the third body. I was like, that there's no obstacle there. There's no challenge.
This is something that pisses me off in movies really bad. It's one of my big pet peeves in movies because when I was a Boy Scout, this was drilled into us really hard. Yeah.
Don't fall asleep and yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. How long do you have to survive if you fall in freezing water and get submerged?
According to Black Phone, days. You could be swimming around down there, no problem.
If you're in freezing temperatures, you have about 6 minutes before your body temperature drops and you get hypothermia and you start to die. You can get hypothermia in 6 to 7 minutes. And then if you don't start reversing that really quick, you'll be dead in 15 to 20 minutes. Like, it is insane how fast you can die if you are submerged in freezing weather. And they treat this like it's like a polar bear plunge. And it's like, there's a hot towel waiting for me over here.
No less than 2 alive characters, not dream characters. Then the number gets even bigger. Fall into this freezing water and come out. One of them comes out by himself.
Yeah.
And they find him later and he's okay.
Yeah. And then that's another thing. It's like coming out of frozen water. There's a lot of things you could have played with there that made it more interesting. Do you want to hear some rules that I came up with just off the top of my head talking about this now?
Yeah.
Okay. So he has these 3 victims. He's come to this camp because he needs their power. And like they treat it as just like him keeping them close to him gives him power. How about this? He's going to their bodies and he's consuming their souls. And once he does, they find the bodies. So now you have a ticking clock. Oh no, we found a body, but we didn't free the ghost. So now he's more powerful, and we see him ramping up in power. If he finds all 3 bodies and consumes the ghost, like takes the soul and literally puts it inside of him, he'll be this ultimate evil that we can't stop. That's more interesting right off the bat. Ticking time clock. Finding the bodies is actually a bad thing, even though it's the thing you want. I love it when movies do that. The thing that you want, freedom, is actually devastating.
Right.
Like when you flip the script on that, and I think that you could have played with that, where it's like he's literally feeding on the ghosts, and the ghosts are being like, "Come find my body and put me to rest before he finds me." You could really play with different types of clocks and different metrics of what gives him power and what makes ghosts scared. Like the kids being ghosts, even though it was a bitchin' shot when this kid gets decapitated with a window, they're just there to be scary. They're not really doing anything.
Correct.
Cryptic bullshit.
I liked
and freaky
all
moments.
of those scenes. I thought they looked awesome. And they
very
were very
cool.
effective. And the movie needs it because it's really all it has scare-wise. But they were effective, but like doesn't make, again, when you stop and be like, what were those ghosts doing? And you're like why were they ghosting?
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess I don't really know. Like the ghosts in the first one were helping Finn. The ghosts in this one were
useless,
like, scaring her, trying to give her clues, but not exactly. And
bullshit clues.
We see the grabber in like ghost form or dream form fighting her. We also see him taking her along on a memory, about her mom's quote unquote suicide, which I thought was a great scene, really cool, really creepy, really effective. Play with that. You can have a whole cat and mouse, Silence of the Lambs type thing where he's like, I'm going to show you things. And that could tie into what you said. We're both looking for the same little boy's body, but for different reasons. I'm going to show you something because I want you to be afraid of it. And when he does that, she finds a clue that she can then use to get to the body first. Yep. And you could have that be one time. You only need one body. It doesn't have to be three.
No, they did the same thing all 3 times. It was rinse and repeat, which was really poor.
And here's the thing, and R.L. Stein wrote about this. You can't rinse in below freezing temperatures for more than 6 minutes.
Right, exactly. Because if you repeat after that, your arms are just going to fall off like spaghetti. It's so like, what the? Yeah, I'm mad. When I first watched this, I was like, it's fine. It's fine. It was fine. It was fine. I give it 3.5 maybe. But now I'm like, boo, boo. I'm more mad because it got so close. I want them to do more, but just be like, give me a 3, but be smarter. You really got to knock it out of the park. If you're good, because like again, your premise is getting stretched really thin at this part.
Yeah.
There's only been one series to come back in the third one and really knock it out of the park, and that's Freddy Krueger. So,
I guess that's true. From step 1 to step 2 was quite a leap, and they were able to get back on the lily pad without too much trouble in the third one.
Well, and you know, we've talked about it many times, but the problem with Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is mostly what are the rules? And like, I don't know. We don't know. He can make birds explode now. What? He can possess people. I like that idea, but what are the rules? We don't know.
Yeah.
Because I actually love I love part 2. I actually really I think it's one of the scarier ones. But then when like he comes out at the pool party, like into the real world, you're like, wait. They can see him. It'd be much better if he was the boy with the Freddy glove being like, you're all my children now. And you're like, whoa, Jesse's crazy. That would have been cool. But the fact that it was actually Freddy, you're like, wait, what? Do you guys know the rules? And like, what rules? The rules you need for this ghost character. You need rules? Yeah, that's why your movie sucks.
It's actually, that would be a funny episode too of like, movies or stories that tanked because they didn't either adhere to or explain rules.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot. And I bet you that you could probably find a lot of movies. Like episode 1 breaks a lot of filming rules and storytelling rules, but you could probably find a lot of movies that are sci-fi or horror that trip themselves up by not following some sort of progression of rules, right?
To piggyback off that, I could give you 10 movies right now where you had the rules and you're like, fuck the rules. Part 2 knows better. Or like Prometheus. Wait, you had rules? You wrote the rules, Ridley. Ridley, you wrote the rules. He's
These
like,
are your rules.
Yeah, you wrote these rules. He's like, I don't know, this goo, man. I've been drinking the goo all day. It's making me all loosey-goosey. And you're like, no, you had it was perfect. You nailed it. Aliens, aliens, even aliens.
Yeah, that might be the most disappointing walk back from rules in cinematic.
Yeah.
Even storytelling history. Like not since caveman days have been like, make no sense.
You know what movies do a really good job with the rules, and they explain them every movie, and they do a really good job? Vampire movies. Even the ones that like, whoa, we're going to get wacky with it. These vampires can go in the sun. They at least know that you know the rules, like stake to the heart, garlic, whatever it is. They explain the rules very well every time. Most vampire movies, I think, are like, that's part of the genre of Draculas and vampires. Like, I need you. There's rules to how it works. They don't have reflections, you know. And when they deviate from that, it's a big deal, and they make a big deal out of it.
I like that thought. It's a good thought.
We could also do a whole episode on ghosts that are fucking useless. This movie, Crimson Peak. There's a bunch of them.
I want to do an episode all about pig ghosts.
Pig ghosts.
Only bovine ghosts. That's it. Just poltergeist, bovine, bovoltergeists.
Bovoltergeists. Huh.
Let's do this to kind of pull it back. Letter scale. What do you give the first movie. What do you give the second movie?
Yeah. First movie is an A, high A, maybe even A plus. I think it might have been. I think it might have been in my top 5 of the year for sure. Maybe even top 3. I thought it was
2012.
2012. I'm trying, like, a funnier joke would be me to be able to go look up the movies that came out in 2012 and be like, I mean, it wasn't as good as like what's a horror movie from 2012, but that
2012 was a disaster movie. I don't think that came out in 2012 though, did it?
That'd be funny if it did. You could be like, Black Phone 1 was better than Woman in Black. Or the first VHS film. Or how about Paranorman? Prometheus. It's way better than fucking Prometheus.
Yeah, well, I mean, that low bar. I don't really like Prometheus on this show. All right, so high A for Black Phone 1.
Yes.
I would say A or A minus. I'm not as hyped about it as you, and I think I would reserve. I'm a tough grader. You can ask my 5-year-old students.
Yeah,
but like, I think I'd say I could say A, low A, high A minus, but yeah, definitely in the A range. What do you give Black Phone 2?
Like a C. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah,
interesting.
You wrote a really good essay, man. You had all the words were there, but there was no structure to it, and the sentences were run-ons.
I would give it a B minus at lowest.
Okay.
Maybe a B. I think the visuals for me are really good. We haven't really discussed it, but like,
I really like that kid getting decapitated with a window, man. That was a
kid ghost stuff is there. There's a boy who has his face split. I think it's the same kid. He rises. He's in that lake, and he rises to the bottom of the ice. So you're looking through the ice at him, and his face starts to open in blood. There's a whole Freddy Krueger scene where she's getting flipped around the kitchen.
Yeah,
and that scene in and of itself is cool because every time she has a dream or a vision, it's shot in this slightly grainy, blurry VHS looking footage. So in that scene, it's going back and forth between her vision, which has the grabber in it and we can see him, to a much more 4K looking situation that the other characters can see where she's flipping all over by herself. And I think that's a really effective scene. I really like it. Like you said, there's the scare where Finn is in the phone booth and the grabber slowly emerges and he's talking to him on the phone, but we see him outside the booth. And that's a pretty scary scene. And that is intercut with her being, antagonized by the ghosts of the 3 boys in the cabin. So it's back and forth and back and forth. I thought that was a really good back and forth storytelling. I give it a little bit of a pass because it's a sequel as far as like coherence. Like, okay, I'm already here. I kind of know some of the rules. And it's certainly, I guess for me, I haven't tried this yet, but this would be funny to say some of these critiques out loud during it in a Shitty Movie Sunday style. Because like if you and I were watching this to rip apart, wait, how the fuck did you know that? Wait, why is nobody else questioning how, like, not only are they not questioning how she knows this, they're already going along with serial killer back from the dead in my dreams, right? Like they're already like, okay, that's fine too.
And then it's like, she's like, I got to go to this camp because of my premonitions. And the brother is like, well, I better come along with you just to like keep an eye on you, instead of just being like, all right, cool, have fun, don't die. Like,
oh, he loves her.
But nothing at that point would give you any reason to follow her. Like, I suppose she's like, I'm having weird dreams, and that's the best he has to go on. We got to go out there together. It wasn't a big enough sell to me.
I don't disagree. I have nothing to debate or argue that with.
But I mean, I buy that more than most of what happens in that movie. That he would go with her. I'll give you that. I will give you that. I might retract that statement.
I feel like the scares are all these ghost boys appearing to her in different things, and
Yeah.
a couple times the grabber doesn't really even come into the movie until halfway through, and that's cool. But then he doesn't really do much until that last scene, and that last scene is kind of a mess.
Here's what would have been even better. She says, I'm going out this camp. He says, peace. He and his dad have some character building. And then he has a premonition. We got to go save her. Okay. Him being there is too much of a foot in the last movie because he can't be the main character. Nothing can happen to him. You can't kill him. He can't get kidnapped because that already happened in the first movie. It's her movie. But he is an anchor that doesn't help the film. He's an anchor that just kind of is like, he has this like plot armor around him that nothing can really happen to him. So that's why that's why a lot of movies would kill that character off real quick. And then it's like, oh, that's interesting. But they're like, I don't really want to kill him. I like him. Well, have him trying to get to her while being tortured by these dreams. That's interesting.
I also like the idea of like really quick. They're like, there's 3 dead kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. And pretty quick, they show you in quick flashbacks what happened. I would have you could flesh out those scenes and make it things the characters discover. And then those kills become the kills of the film because it's an effective horror movie, but there's who gets killed in it?
Does one of the Bible thumpers get killed? Does the main camp guy get killed?
No. I don't think anyone gets killed.
That's dumb.
The 3 boys are already dead. Yeah, I think that's it. And I guess you can make the argument: does it have to have a death count to be? Does that have to have a body count to be a good horror movie? No, I guess not. But I guess that's an unchecked box. And the scary scenes in the movie, like what are the scenes in the movie that would make your girlfriend cringe against you in the theaters? Unless it was in the 80s, because then you know what's happening. But like, you know, like what are the moments? There's not too many jump scares. It's all related to those dead kids. And are they actually really menacing?
No, because
they are at first, but like
they're just spooky ghosts.
She knows that they're not trying to hurt her, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's almost like a weird cop-out scare or cop-out scare movie, right? If you think about it, there's not really that many satisfactory. The last sequence, there are people in danger. He is hurting people and trying to stop and kill people. The good guys are trying to do something. He's trying to stop them. They're trying to stop him from stopping them. So like, I guess that's an effective sequence.
Yeah. Before we go, Ethan Hawke. Really good in both these films, even though in the second one I think he's underutilized. Other Ethan Hawke films, do you have any highlights?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The first one of this made me go back and start watching a couple other ones of his.
Yes.
He's actually like, I can't think of too many movies that I thought he was so in. Right. And I went back and I rewatched Training Day. Training Day is not a perfect movie. It is good though. Really, really good. I loved it. I loved it top to bottom. And I think he is better than Denzel Washington. I think Denzel Washington has the juicier, more fun role to play, the more fun character. But But
he's relying on a bombast that requires zero finesse. He can just
absolutely.
I'm King Kong, motherfuckers! Right. Like he just has to be loud and he has to be bombastic and he's charismatic. Denzel Washington can do that all day, and it is a standout role for him. It's one of our favorites. But does it require any finesse? No, man. You just get to
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
To sit down at that diner table with him at the beginning of the movie, and he says, "Do you want breakfast?" And he says, "No." And then he later says, "Okay, I'll take breakfast." He goes, "No, you fucked that up already. You don't get that." And you see how awkward and uncomfortable Ethan Hawke is. To about an hour later, he knocks Denzel Washington to the ground, pulls a gun on him, and he says, "You have pulled a gun on me twice today. There will not be a third." You're like, holy shit. Okay, so he's the wolf, but he doesn't have to wolf all the time. Yeah. But if you back into a corner, he's gonna take you, and he doesn't care if you're fucking Denzel Washington with your double guns. I just thought, like, wow, what an amazing movie. And it's really good. It's a fun story. It's a great day. It's an awesome LA movie.
Yes.
And I mean, Ethan Hawke's performance in that, from start to finish. Damn, dude, really, really good.
I'm just going to read off some highlights. Dead Poet Society is one of his earliest films.
Okay.
White Fang.
Explorers.
Yeah, Explorers is his first film. Dead Poet Society. White Fang. So, Alive. Holy shit, Alive. That's the Andes Mountain soccer team movie.
Yeah, I know the reference, but I've never seen it.
Quiz Show, Gattaca, Great Expectations. He does a lot of Shakespeare stuff. Hamlet, Waking Life, Training Day, Taking Lives, the Precinct 13 remake, Lord of War.
Right. What was Taking Lives?
Taking Lives is him and
killer?
Angelina Jolie. Yeah.
Okay.
Not great, but like, hey,
Sure.
Just a bunch of great.
Did you see Before the Devil Knows You're Dead with Philip Seymour?
Yeah, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. I'm looking at this one right now. Daybreakers, which is a weird Russian vampire film.
Vampire one? No, that's not a Russian one. I don't think that's Day Watch and Night Watch. This one was a different one with Willem Dafoe. It's weird, but also pretty cool.
Other weird movies, Sinister. A Total Recall, shitty Total Recall, the first Purge movie, my Boyhood, which was a huge Oscar thing. My favorite that he's in, Predestination, which is the time travel movie that answers how can you become your own grandpa. He's in a ton of just really good movies. Magnificent Seven remake, Valerian, which are whatever, but holy shit, he's in a ton of good stuff. Black Phone, Moon Knight, Glass Onion.
Oh yeah, Moon Knight. I didn't really like that show much, I didn't love his character, but he played it so well. It was an intriguing character because of how he portrayed him.
Ethan Hawke, man, crushing it. Yeah. If you guys like time travel movies, which I love time travel movies, Predestination is great. It's super cool, and its biggest failing is a shitty fake mustache. Just gonna say that right now. Spoiler alert: when you're watching that movie, and you're like, "Why is that mustache so shitty? What the fuck is up with that shitty fake mustache?" Don't worry, it all comes full circle. And then you're like, that's why they had that shitty mustache. I get it now. Good movie though. Cool, man. I think we did it. Ring, ring, ring. Hello, are you a ghost? Be precise. Pretend this is a collect call. Just tell me where the fuck you are. All right, cool.
Can you imagine you die and you go to I don't know if it's purgatory, but you don't go to heaven, you don't go to hell. They're like, you got to be a ghost.
Yeah.
You're like, I got to settle something before I die, before I go to heaven or hell. And they're like, yeah, you have a mission. You have something you have to do. It's the unfinished business. You're like, what am I, a fucking pig in a closet? They're like, no. You were murdered though. Hatchet to the face. Your body's in the lake. You have to find a girl with some sort of premonition power. That's easy, right? Because she already has a premonition. I'm a ghost. I'll just be able to tell her. Oh, wait, no. You cannot just flat out tell someone. Can I charades it? Can I?
Yeah, they're like,
no. That's also a little too straightforward. Well, I mean, all right, what am I allowed to do then? You can
bleed from your face.
You can write her a note. Oh, okay, cool. So I'll just be like, hi. No. You could write one letter.
Yeah.
You mean one piece of folded paper with words across? No, a single symbol. Well, how the fuck am I going to do that? No. Don't worry. There's two other ghosts that you're going to work in tandem with. Well, how many letters can they write?
Can you imagine?
We're all in the same lake? Yes. But good news, if they find one of you, they're pretty much going to find all of you because you're in the same area. Right in the same area of the lake.
Wait, there's three of us. We're under the ice. I'll do an I, you do a C, you do an E. It'll be easy. I mean, I bet I bet after one letter, they'll get it.
Dude, you know what that is? That is the ghost version of playing celebrity. You know when you play celebrity and the second round is 2 words only? And you're like, oh, I got this. Ice Lake. And then I'm like, I don't know. And you're like, dude, Ice Lake? Dude, now we have 60 seconds to just sit here because I don't know what the fuck ice lake means. I don't get that reference.
Oh my God. And the whole time your face is just like peeling off from the hatchet wound you have to relive every single night. Just you're like, it doesn't really hurt. It's just more annoying because like when your tongue's cut in half and you're like, find me in the ice. So dumb. Useless fucking ghosts. Anyway, Rumi, there's only one thing we have to do. Let's blast this fucking thing off.
Are you going to tell everyone where
in a
to follow us and everything?
Social media. The social
everyone,
media.
Please report to social media to follow us.
Yeah. All right, Rumi, let's blast this thing off. Till next time, we're the Rocketeers and we're out.
Are you really not going to give our social medias?
I mean, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I don't know. Does anybody? I don't do social media anymore. Do you?
No. Yeah. But guys, you should do our social media. Hey, does anybody want to be the Launchpad Podcast social media coordinator?
They'll be
it's
like,
a great job because we don't even check on you.
It's also a great job because you only have to post one thing every 3 months. It's fantastic.
No, I'm going to make a promise to listeners, but also to Rumi.
Yeah.
I need to get back into this. I miss it. It's been too long.
Dude.
So, and I have a lot of stupid shit I got to tell everybody. So,
dude, I have so much. We didn't even talk. It's St. Patrick's Day. We didn't talk about leprechauns. The Oscars just happened, and horror won a bunch of awards. Multiple Predator movies have come out, and we haven't talked about them.
That's true. That's true.
Did you even see Badlands?
Mm-hmm.
You are the Predator in that movie.
It was Mediocre Lands. Why? What is he do?
No. Oh, you're insane. Because he's such a cranky old man who's like, I don't like this funny sidekick or this plucky sidekick that I have. And I'm like, the whole time I'm watching, like, this is Ruby. Ruby is the Predator.
I would have either died or made that progress by myself. If I was stuck on any foreign planet and half of Elle Fanning was like, I'm your only hope, I'd be ritual suicide right there.
See, and the whole time I was like, Rumi is this Predator who hates it. My favorite part about it was that the Predator hated his own movie. He hated every second of it. And I was like, yeah, Bud's my boy. I love all these new characters, all these aliens. Yeah, we'll get into it. We should do a whole episode about how awesome Predator Badlands is.
We should do it from the Predator, the perspective of the Predator dugout. Like all the main character predators from other movies hanging out. And they're like, oh, dude, I just got back from Los Angeles, 1997, the future. I was fighting this cop. He was, this guy that also a predator, an alien killed was there. Oh, it was great. And another predator's like, oh, man, I was just in jungles. Fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger was there. Oh, and he's like, what did you do, Dick? First of all, I don't even have the same shape head as anybody else in this room. Second
I'm a juvenile. He's a juvenile. They have to treat him like
excuse me. Number one, no droids allowed. Number two, you got to leave your pets outside. So bring your little monkey out there. Oh, he's not a monkey. He's like an unstoppable regenerative thing.
He's just got to grow up. I love it. I love it so much. My biggest qualm isn't with this movie. It's the one that follows it. So we'll talk about it. We'll get into it.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, man. So excited. All right. I keep teasing it, but we're done.
I'm calling it. I'm calling it.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.